So researchers in Sydney looked at the age and cause of death for 1,000 people in the New York Times obituaries between 2009 and 2011. And let's take a look at some of this stuff. The national average age of death for 2010 was 78.7 years. The average age of death for performers and athletes, about a year and a half less, 77.2. And the average age of death of business people, 83 years. So they say, love what you do. Everybody says that. Love what you do. That is the key to happiness, but apparently not the key to longevity. Does this scare you?
That surprised me, the business thing, because aren't like high-powered businessmen full of stress and
heart attacks
and they drink?
And
I'm generalizing, of course, but you know, there's pressure to perform. So even though they're not famous, they're still accountable. So I would think that surprised me, that number. And again, they're just numbers that somebody's showing me. So, I mean, even though it's statistical, I mean,
clearly it's not a perfectly scientific study because it's obituaries that were in the New York Times, which is probably a certain subset of people. But we're all performers. We're all big stars. Do you fear that you are going? That cackle is scaring me.
That's my real laugh.
Do you fear that you're going to lose a couple years off your life because of the crazy lifestyle?
I'm surprised I'm still alive right now, honestly. I don't know. I always thought if it's in the cards that I'm going to be extremely rich and successful, I hope I live to be 100 so I can just sit there and enjoy it at a pool and drinking all day.
So we're people that are following our dreams and doing what we want to do. So you think that leads itself to a healthy lifestyle. That's what everyone says. If you're living in the moment and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully you have some money and you're successful. But you think that these business people are just going to drop dead because they're not happy, and yet we're finding out it's the complete reverse of that.
Well, and they're working, I mean, sometimes we're working not at all for a week, and they're working 20 hours a day. And sleeping for 2 hours a night. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
So is the point you're damned if you do and damned if you don't?
The point is I'm getting a new job.
You want to be a high-powered corporate executive.
I do. I can see myself working for a brand.
Somehow I find that hard to believe. What could comedians do? What could we do? What could you possibly do?
We could be in a think tank of like advertise, like we're good with words, right? Like slogans.
You can consult, you can do copywriting.
Do you ever think that, like, we're slightly off topic here, but let's run with it, that if the world ended, would there be anyone less useful than a comedian? Every time I'm watching Walking Dead, and I'm thinking, these people all have certain skills. The guy with the guy can shoot a bow, and everyone, they can all do things. Someone can, rig a car. I'm like, I really can't do much of it. I would sit there and talk about it. Not much.
I know how to forge through a vending machine and a mini bar.
You'd survive.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I would survive.
You could help feed other people.
Exactly. No, but honestly, I think we're leaders, and that if we can calm down the masses amongst the chaos, that maybe people wouldn't die of fear.
You can make less of the fear, let them feel at ease. That's a great skill.
Do you guys think that maybe the day of the celebrity sort of dropping dead early, usually because of drug use, they call it the 27 Club, where you've got Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, they all died at 27. That seems to be phasing out a little bit. I mean, Amy Winehouse was a couple of years ago now. Because people are more aware, and I guess it's harder to hide all the addictions because there's pictures of everybody. So that's kind of good, right?
Well, the world has become CSI universe. I mean, just even from the Boston event, they found them because there were cameras somewhere. So like, I feel like everywhere I go, no matter what I'm doing, I might be seen.
And that causes you to not be a recluse drug addict or doing nefarious things.
I mean...
Or at least you're careful if you are.
Right, or I'm on Dr. Drew. And then, but yeah, I think there's more of a community watching the person self-destruct. I think there's more of a...
It's like talking about, these, and I'll generalize with this, these young girls that get famous fast and get out of control because they don't really get to grow up on their own. They get to grow up with everyone watching them. Where everything you do is on Twitter, or on Facebook, or on television, or TMZ, or whatever. It's like there's no way to be safe in that way. So you have to be a little bit more responsible for your actions to some regard, or someone's going to throw you in rehab instead, rather than just like put you at the Chateau Marmont and let you waste away.
Yeah. Do you think we have any responsibility to these people? Like Amanda Bynes is the perfect example. The girl's clearly going off the deep end right now. She's heading in that Lindsay Lohan road. Do we have any?
How old is she?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's another one. I missed that guy. But yeah, I mean, do we have any responsibility when we're now watching this happen? Because I guess that's the point. Social media is changing where we're literally every day, if you want to see what Amanda Bynes has done, to go down that road a little more, you can see it. And one day the road's just going to end.
Well, and if
we'll have all
no
been
one's
witnesses.
watching, is she still going to do it? If you don't have an audience, you're still going to perform.
Yeah.
I mean, it's give or take, I guess. But I don't know. Are we responsible? I don't know. There are things I guess you can do and you can try, and you know, if you know her personally, perhaps, I'm generalizing with Amanda Bynes, maybe step in. But in the meantime, they're still adults that are making adult choices, whether they're right or wrong. So what do we have to do?
I think Dr. Phil should step in, like he did with Britney.
Yeah. Please, Dr. Phil, the last time he stepped in, I think it was with that guy, remember the golden voice guy?
Yes.
And then, you know, there was
guy.
this homeless guy that they found on the street, and he had this incredible announcer's voice, and Dr. Phil stepped in, kind of cleaned him up. 2 days later, the guy's like, he was beating his wife again, and he was on drugs and blah,
But
blah.
he does have a Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial.
Oh, right, he did.
He did a voiceover.
More than I can say for myself.
It's
yeah,
amazing.
pretty good. Bonobos.com is the official outfitter of the Rubin Report. Use code TRR20 for 20% off your first purchase.